10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
All right, good evening and welcome, ladies and gents, to our second round of the upper bracket finals of the upper bracket in the Dota 2 Gigabyte Challenge for South Africa. The sides before us tonight are Carbon up against DUC. And we've got some big names in the country today. We have, certainly one of the favorites for the tournament, and that is Carbon. And they've been looking strong of late, took down their, one could almost say, arch enemies in their ex-brothers over at BVD Emotion. And they'll be looking to keep themselves going strong here and going up against DUC. DUC is somewhat of a gatekeeper team. They are very strong against teams just below them, but sometimes struggle against teams above them. So this will be, if they win here tonight, this will be like a massive win for them here. So let's see if Carbon as well as DUC can continue on their winning ways. And we're going to go straight through the bans quickly. The Tusk as well as Spirit Breaker removed by Scant, Leshrak and Bounty by the side of DUC. So pretty standard meta, as Scant will go for the Lina first up. It does mean that DUC is going to be a little bit more shy of going for something like the Quap or the Shadow Fiend. Kira's not particularly known to enjoy having a Lina in their face early on. As I mean, like I said, it's very meta dependent here. Bounty Hunter as well as Leshrak obviously will never see the light of day in games like this. Tusk as well is not long for this world. It does open up potential on other heroes though. Clockwork, DUC opened with the same draft last night, but they went for the Clockwork. Now I wonder, I mean, I can't remember what they actually went for in the second pick at that stage, but I wonder if either of these teams actually goes for the Winter Wyvern here early on. She's been shown to be pretty devastating in team fights, and particularly with something like the Lina or the Clockwork can do wonders. Clockwork will really just shut down the team fights if he gets off a good set of cogs, and Winter Wyvern ulti will really help that out. You know, you get the cogs off, it separates the team, and you drop the Winter Wyvern ulti on one half of the team and just wreck the remainder. So it could do quite a bit of work. Carbon, obviously, I mean, Lina, perfect setup for her stun as well as Laguna Blade if that comes through. And DUC will grab themselves the Wyvern. So a decent pick here. And just how does Carbon respond to this? I think they'll probably be going for also probably a support along those lines. Perhaps the Earthshaker, very good hero at the early stages. It'll help Lina out as well with a quick rotation. And could set up some kills for her in the early stages there if he gets off a good Fisher, or just, traps the hero on the correct side for Lina to finish them off. So good early game rotations as well from the Earthshaker. Alternatively, if they don't want to go for a support at this stage, they could go for the Gyrocopter. He is still available. Probably going to be banned in the second round if he doesn't make it through. So Scant would need to make the decision now, actually, whether he wants to grab that hero or not. And I mean, it would fight pretty well. It's not known to be spectacular against the Wyvern, obviously, since it's very easy to shut it down, and Clockwork can also do a number on him. But the laning stage will go pretty well. Clockwork isn't really all that keen on, attempting the battery assault death onto the Gyrocopter in the early stages. And actually, Carbon will pick another hero that's pretty good against the Clockwork. That'll be the Rubik. So I was thinking about the Rubik, but I was also thinking maybe a bit early here. It's not the most overly aggressive sport. Obviously, he combos very well with Lina if Lina is played as a support here. So that is another option that Scant could be going. And this is the one thing that Lina does, is it gives you lots of options in the draft. It means that it's pretty difficult for DUC to just straight out say, okay, well, Lina's definitely going mid here. So, options are always very good in the draft, and Scant in particular known as, if not the top, then certainly one of the top in South Africa at drafting. Broodmother banned out by Scant here. I've seen a lot of this from South African teams and actually a number of European teams. Early bans on the Broodmother. It's generally not the kind of hero that you don't want to be prepared for. It's brutally powerful if grabbed in that 5th pick roll and you have no method of shutting it down, as it was shown to just wreck face. And It's it's one of those hard stopping heroes to see in the opponent's fifth pick when you have nothing to deal with it, because it just dominates the lane. It shuts down your carry, it shuts down your supports, it constantly pushes, and you can never really get anything done there. Duck will ban out the Earthshaker in response to that, so setting themselves up here for a possible Phantom Lancer pick. Earthshaker generally pretty good against the Phantom Lancer in that respect. Carbon Dota, well, they got a couple of decisions. They're actually going to ban out the Storm Spirit, so again, a hero that they don't really at the moment have a lot of hard lockdown for. Rubik will have a decent amount of work to do there if he can. No, if he was picked up, Lena would have dominated him in the mid, but you still don't want that Storm Spirit falling out of control, because once he picks up something like a BKB or a Lincoln Sphere, I mean, at that stage, he can just zip around. He can, take out 2-3 members of your team while taking very, very little, if any, damage at all. So Carbon, I think, would have been very happy about that. Ember Spirit is the ban out by Duck, and this is clearly setting themselves up for a Phantom Lancer, yeah. There's no reason that you're going to ban out both the Earthshaker and Ember and then not grab themselves the PL. Carbon, they're going to spring a surprise. They're going to pick up Sven. So this is the second Sven I've seen in the tournament thus far. The first one was on Monday night. I believe it was... for the life of me, I cannot remember the team. Escapes me now, but it was a support Sven. I don't think Carbon is likely to play the support Sven. It has a number of issues, mana most especially, so I'm thinking it's going to be a hard carry here for Carbon. And it's got a lot of setup. I mean, Rubik is certainly going to be able to, start things off with the telekinesis. If Lena's played as a support, that is a pretty deadly lane for any offlaner that gets sent that way. And I mean, Clockwork not particularly tanky in terms of armor, so that should be a fairly simple kill if Carbon are running this kind of aggressive or this kind of tri lane. I mean, it's an aggressive tri lane as such, but I don't think it's going to be played as I don't think it's going to be played on the aggressive lane sort of thing. So just the standard stuff. Sven, pretty dependent on his BKB. He's got a number of things that will actually go through it. Clockwork and obviously control the BKB. Sven, Winter Wyvern with the Winter's Curse can certainly do a number as well. And Lion, if he gets that Blink Dagger, will be able to cause Sven a number of problems as well. Blinking in before he can get the BKB off with the Hex can generally result in Sven going down pretty damn quick. So Carbon, they have to play this well. They're going to have to protect the Sven in the early stages. He's not going to be the best farmer straight out of the gate, but he will farm stacks pretty quickly, so I expect a lot of stacking coming out from Carbon, and it should get him up to speed. It'll also double as a help for Lena if she struggles in the lane. Darkseer will be the pickup here for Carbon, and a decent all-round off-laner, very, very passive on the lane at times. He's up against a PL, so I think he might be able to get a little bit more aggressive. Obviously, Lion and Winter Wyvern spell a little bit of danger for him, but I think he should be able to farm decently well. Experience might be a bit hard to come by as always, but Darkseer, I think he'll be okay. It's not likely that he'll get caught out here unless the Lion and Winter Wyvern catch him very, very far from his tower. So Duck banning out the Disruptor last. That's an interesting ban, since Disruptor... I don't really understand why they banned out the Disruptor here. Disruptor is an okay support, but I mean, with a Rubik and a Sven, I mean, the killing chances of that are very, very slim. Sure, Sven does decent amounts of damage, but Disruptor... I mean, even against the Duck heroes, they're not heroes that really clump up, but it's more of a spread-out team fight. The Duck will take. Winter Wyvern will play from far behind. Clockwork will usually be the one, at range, and then PL will be the one getting up in your face. Lion as well will just be playing off to the side. So, I mean, unless they were thinking that Darkseer plus the Disruptor combo was powerful enough to justify the ban, I don't believe that. I think that there's better and more reliable lockdowns than the Disruptor. Final ban out for Carbon here, so Duck is now left with their choice of mid laner. They are in the Radiant, so I think they might be able to get away with a Shadow Fiend, although Carbon, the way they've banned actually almost means it makes me think that they're goading Duck into picking up the Shadow Fiend here. Now Shadow Fiend is very, very weak against the Lina. She's easily able to get off a stun and then a Dragon Slave, and he's going to be under some severe pressure. Rubik obviously can set up stuns if he rotates in there for Lina as well. So it's going to be a rough lane for the Shadow Fiend. They do go for him in the end. So it is a Radiant shot Shadow Fiend, so he'll get a little bit of farm there as well, able to stack his own camps, not totally reliant on the supports to do so for him. But I do still worry here. I think that Carbon, like just the way that I'm looking at the bans, they grabbed the Lina very, very early on, and then they ban out a Storm Spirit and a Queen of Pain, and that just kind of tells me that they preparing themselves for the Shadow Fiend. They know exactly what's going to happen. So Carbon, they're looking for their last pick. I'm going to assume it's a second support. So Earthshake has been removed. Disrupt has been removed. I wonder if we don't maybe see a Dazzle. Dazzle may be a little bit defensive here. Alternatively, they could run the Sven support and then put the Gyrocopter. He's not been banned out yet, so bit of decision making. I think, as I said, I'm pretty certain Sven is going to be the hard carry here. They'd need a support that can set up some kind of ganking ability. Dazzle, not really the best at that. But Carbon, I mean, Scant in particular known for pulling a couple of tricks every now and then in his drafting. So, I mean, they could even run the Ogre Magi. There we go. Certainly not a hero I expect. It adds it's really been seen since it doesn't do spectacularly with farm, obviously. But well, Scant certainly looking for the casino tonight. Let's hope he's got the luck of the gods with him. Orange Jesus should favor the side of Carbon here, and Duck has it all to do. As I said, Carbon Dota is ex-Bravado Blue, probably at times the #1 team in the country. Certainly, the last couple of months when they put the beat down on Emo, it really meant that at that stage, Blue was the biggest team the best team in the country. Surprisingly, dropped soon afterwards by their organization Bravado, and left to find a new team. Quickly snapped up by the organization. Alright then, sorry guys, just a quick disconnect as is usual for the service. But anyway, so guys, we are in the Dota 2 Gigabyte Challenge in South Africa online tournament for the prize pool of $2,000. Sides before us tonight in the upper bracket second round. Best of 3 is Duck on the side of the Radiant. That'll be run by Abyss on the Winter Wyvern. Rockley on the Shadow Fiend is going to see his opponent Darks here. And damage is going to come through Chelsea. Does he expend that surge? He's going to run for his life and will get himself to safety. So Rockley on the Shadow Fiend, Legend, the PL. Rising Devil will be grabbing the Lion, and completing the lineup will be Orestes on his Clockwork, which he did so well with last night. Carbon on the other side of the map, playing from the Dire. Scant, the Drafter, on the Ogre Magi. Chelsea will be grabbing the Darkseer. Nova here, the stand-in for tonight, will be the Rubik. Chosen will be grabbing that hardcore-looking Sven. And Smacker will be running the mid-lane Lina. So Scant taking quite a bit of damage here, actually getting caught out pretty heavily, and will be pushed off of the bottom. Rune Smacker will grab the other one, so just a 1-for-1 trade on the Chelsea, I don't know. This has been given a lot of time and space. They have lost their courier as well. What the hell is going on here with the... Oh, very, very close to Rockley feeding his own courier away there. As not the best situation for Elgato to find himself in. Smacker here is looking to do what he can to try and farm up. That first death, not going to be the best way that he would have liked to start this. As we've got Scant, he's actually rotated in here. They might get a kill into Rising Devil. He actually is going to stun up Chelsea, who's going to turn on that Iron Shell. Is not going to start working. The slow comes out from the Abyss Winter Wyvern, and that will force Duck. Sorry, that will force the 2 Carbon players back. Scant at the moment running a little bit up to the farm, trying to see and do what he can. Legend is on fairly low HP. I mean, at the moment, Carbon actually dominating all 3 of their lanes. It's not often that you'll see a Darkseer topping the scoreboard or very close to it at this stage of the game up against the tri-lane. That's very, very odd, and I think Duck might be giving up a little bit too much. They're going to start moving on to Scant here to throw out the Lance, but the slow means that not very easy for Legend to follow up here. They'll spot Chelsea rotating back into the lane, but he has himself those arcane boots, so I think he'll be okay for the moment. It's actually interesting that he's gone for the arcane boots first. Usually you don't see Darkseers take that kind of chance. Scant will throw out the slow again and take a bit of damage, actually quite a bit of damage, as Chelsea's going to look to try and get a kill, realizes that he's probably not going to get anything, so we'll just hang around here for a little bit longer. Scant playing a little bit dangerously, doesn't actually have any form of getting HP to him right now, so he's going to hang around here. Chelsea will take the mana pot. But yeah, interesting that Darkseer actually went for the mana boots first and not the soul ring. That is generally the item that you go for, but I think Chelsea with this early start means that he can afford to get quite greedy on the lane here, and it's a good start. I mean, the mana ring, sorry, the soul ring does mean that he's a little bit less tanky since he's constantly spending his HP, and he'll be more than happy to get off to this kind of start here right now. Scant and where's Chelsea? They're going to actually just spot out this creep pull, and they'll ruin it for the side of Duck, as well as stealing a bit of HP, stealing a little bit of the farm there. Both of them taking quite a bit of damage, so they'll retreat a bit. In the mid lane, how is Smacker doing? He's got himself that DD, and just behind, or just ahead of Rockley on the Shadow Fiend. Obviously the level makes a big difference since he did go down first and Rockley survived, and Smacker will look to make that even in the near future. No camps as yet stacked for the Shadow Fiend, which I think might be a bit of a mistake. They'd love to have those up. Smacker, does he have any camps stacked for himself? He does. He's got a triple stack over here. He's only got a single and a single, so a lot is riding on that camp going well. Nova here and Chosen up on top lane. They're making as much work as they can here. Orestes, he's being starved for gold and experience, and well, not actually experience. Gold definitely. Experience is about to hit level 6. He's looking pretty healthy in the mid lane. It does look as though Scant was trying to make something happen, but a little bit low to get anything done there, as Rockley is going to start moving on to Smacker. The stun comes up from Scant though, and they're going to get the ulti off onto Rockley, as well as making a toasty soul as Smacker finishes him off for the Dragon Slave there. They do trade Scant, but I think it's a small price to pay for getting that Shadow Fiend. Smacker will be running up and away to safety for the moment, and he'll be moving into the mid lane now. Scant TPs himself down to the bot lane. He's actually very, very low level, only level 2, about to actually crack level 3 once he gets around to the lane. Yeah, there we go. So we'll pick up the second level of the slow there, as is usual. Nova here, what's he looking at? He's level 5 about. I mean, this lane doesn't really have a great deal of killing potential. Even against the Clockwork, I don't think they're going to be able to do a whole lot. Clockwork actually just rotating down to the well, that's an interesting one. I think he's, I don't know, maybe he's going to TP in. No, he's definitely going to TP in. Or no, he TPs to the top lane. I would have expected him to TP here to the mid lane and try and make something happen, since he does have a little bit of support. Actually, Rockley is going to be the one doing the movement. They're going to go to the top lane and see if they can catch themselves a Chosen Sven. We've got 3 heroes coming up here now with the arrival of Rising Devil. The ulti is going to miss from Orestes though, and that means that all of this time has been wasted. Rockley will come in and just try and farm up the creep wave, but this means that Smacker gets a little bit more time in the mid lane. They are giving Duck, they are giving Abyss a little bit of time to work, as well as down on bot lane. They are going to get a kill onto Ogre Major. Do they get the kill? They do indeed, as Chelsea will go down. Sorry, Chelsea picks up the kill onto Legend with the Darkseer Ion Shell creep, and looking pretty healthy is Chelsea at the moment. If he grabs that regeneration rune. Nova here has been left to the mid lane to try and farm up there, as Chosen farms the the stacks. And for the moment, it just looks like both teams holding serve. Carbon pretty decently ahead in terms of the last hits and denies, but not that greatly. So definitely a chance for Rockley to come back. He's just going to clear out that creep camp again. It's only a single creep camp, so I think DUC may be making a bit of a mistake here, since Carbon is doing a good job of, whenever the Sven or Lina gets pushed out of the lane, they immediately go and farm those stacks, and they're constantly setting themselves up to, have a good game, because even if you shut them down in the lane, they're finding some farm elsewhere, and DUC not really doing that. I mean, if you look at Legend, it's very difficult for him to do that, so you can give him a bit of a break on that, but Shadowfiend definitely should be getting at least 2 or 3 stacks every time, as Chelsea gets aggressive on him. Does have the Ion Shell up. The slow will come out from Scant. Do they have the stun? They do have the stun. Legend should be going down here. He's not going to make it out. Scant gets the last kill with his baseball bat, and that'll be the end of Legend's life. Up on top lane, looks like a bit of movement here. Nova's going to get caught out by that Clockwork Hook, and that should be the end of his life. Smacker looks to be the next one. He's going to try and pop the armor, but it's not going to be enough, as he does go down as well. So Orestes picks up the double on top lane. Out comes Smacker with a Dragon Slave. He's going to drop the ulti for a low HP Clockwork. Maybe not worth it, but he's called it that in the end. He's going to stun up on Abyss. Does he have any bit of support? He does. Scat is in the area. Slow comes through. Abyss should be going down, and he will. Only Rising Devil in the area, and he's not all that keen to get involved here. So a good turnaround there from Carbon, losing 2 up on top lane, but immediately getting a 2-for-2 trade to clean that up. So I'd suppose overall a bit of a win there for Carbon. They lost a little bit more high value hero in the Sven, but I think they won't be too upset with that, I don't think, in the end. Orestes TPs himself back right before his own rocket lands. Scant now hanging around here. Smacker still in the area, so if they want to get aggressive, they could very likely get another kill. But Smacker will TP himself all the way home, as Chosen continues to farm out here. Chelsea hangs around on the bot lane. Interesting to see what Chelsea goes for next. I think it'll be the Blink Dagger, but he could also go for the Guardian Greaves if he wants to try and take a bit of a chance. Yeah, I think, as I said, right now, I think Guardian Greaves probably not worth the money. He's actually going to go complete the Magic Wand, and then he'll come back. Lina has grabbed herself the Shadow Blade, so an interesting method of initiation, probably a little bit of a better one. Stuns up onto Legend and hits him with the laser, and there we go. Legend dies for the 3rd time in the laning stage. Carbon looking to shut down this hard carry PL, and probably the best way to do it is just to continuously kill him. Never really able to get up to speed here. Chosen, meanwhile, has completed his Mask of Madness, so you can do a surprising amount of damage in these early stages. Probably will be looking for something like an SY at the to fight off early here. Up on top lane, Scant is going to go down. Combination of 3 heroes accounts for the Ogres, as Orestes starts things off with the hook into the cogs, and the rest of the team just piling in. Nova here, only one available on the top lane. He's not got a stolen spell as yet. I think he could well, he's got actually a decent set of spells to steal here, but he's just got to really time it correctly. Oh, doesn't want to steal it. That's not a very good skill for him to steal. Down on bot lane, Chelsea and Legend continuously do good out here. We have Smacker TPing in from behind. He's going to get another kill onto Abyss here. Abyss is going to stand stunned up and should be finished off. Smacker will be getting the last hit. No, Nova will get that, as Winter Wyvern does turn on the Cold Embrace to keep himself alive for a slightly little bit of time, but they had more than enough to finish him off there, not even needing the Lina ulti. Scant farms out the mid lane. He's at level 7 now, so has that level 4 stun as well as the first chance of the multis. Chelsea picks up the tower on the bot lane, as Legends farm just continues to get cut off very, very well here. We have Rockley actually hunting down Chosen. Chosen forced to use that Warcry and get himself to safety. Chelsea not really all that keen on helping his mate out there for the moment. Smacker hangs around in mid lane. I wonder if he's actually going for the silver edge here. I don't think so. Probably going to start moving towards the Aghanim Scepter, or perhaps even going for... That's what I thought. Could very well be going for the Bloodstone here. That might actually also be a good pick. But I think Aghanim Scepter more likely to come through, since you want to make as much use of it as early as possible before Rock Lee and friends get up their BKVs. Yeah, let's actually switch over to the network graph where we can see Lena currently tops the board. We have Chelsea, he's running through the jungle with a surge. Orestes is just trying to wait it out. He does have the ulti available, so they could set themselves up for a kill here onto Chelsea, but it looks like they might very well have caught Scant. He's going to get found and finished by the Lion with the help of Rock Lee. So a little bit less an important hero at the time to grab is Scant. But space has been created. I mean, Chosen continues to farm away here, not really being shut down at all. Chelsea is also just being given free rein to cause as much of a headache for Legend as possible. And poor Legend is quite far back on the net worth graph, 3,500 only. He's being doubled up by Smacker at the moment, and it looks as though Smacker is going to be cleaning up a tower very soon with the help of some friends. Chosen and Nova here will be clearing this second tier 1 for the game. DUC looking to try and trade. They have 3 of their own in the mid lane. Scant will TP in here, see what he can do. Chosen will be given that last tower, and the TPs are coming in now. I don't really know if they can actually defend this. Scant's going to come through. We do have the aggressive TP forward from Chelsea, and he's going to see and do it here, but he's going to miss the vacuum. It is only a level 2 vacuum, so not quite the radius that he needed to get. As well, Carbon do defend their mid lane tower. They're looking at the tier 1, which is sitting in the mid lane for DUC. It is the last tier 1 for DUC, and Carbon are certainly looking to make something happen here. Scant is going to just eat the ward as well. Might very well trade his life here. Nova is coming in for assistance, and Smacker as well. The stun comes through, Abyss goes down, and the ulti comes through onto Smacker. That's going to send him running for the hills at the moment, as in comes Chelsea with a good usage of the vacuum. That's going to take out 2 for the moment. Third comes through with Smacker laying the smackdown on the Laguna Blade. As 3 traded by DUC there for nothing on the side of Carbon, and DUC getting off to a poor starty mid game here with Carbon looking healthy. Blink Dagger, first item for Chosen, so that's their form of initiation here outside of Doxia. Doxia building towards, I think it is going to be that Blink Dagger, 2,000 gold in his bank, and seems the most logical choice here. Nova here, he's also going towards what should be a Blink Dagger eventually. Scant, well, he's the poorest on the team at the moment, but really just looking for any sort of utility that he can at the moment. He might also go for a Blink Dagger, or could actually go for the 4-star. He's going to spot out Legend. Does he set up a gank here? There's nobody really in the area, so I think he's just going to hunt around here for the moment. They spotted Orestes. Actually, Scant is going to run himself in, and he's going to get dusted up, and that should be the end of his life. So just unfortunate timing for Scant there, as he dies once again at the hands of the Phantom Lancer. Chelsea, he's got himself the Blink Dagger, just pushing out the pushing out the bot lane there. Chosen just continues to farm away. As actually Smack is hanging around down here on the bot lane. Shadowblade up, and Rising Devil in his sights. The stun comes through. Actually, he's going to start it off. Oh, never mind. Doesn't even need the stun. Smacker sending him to the grave with the Laguna Blade once again. He's going to start working on the tier 2 bot lane, forcing out a rotation from 2 heroes from DUC here. They did get themselves the tier 1 in mid though, so Carbon not really looking to defend that at all. I don't even think, or did they? I don't know if they used the glyph. They might have used it earlier. Anyway, they open themselves up at the moment a 7,500 gold lead, so 7,500 gold lead or so. So it is pretty healthy. XP about the same, a little bit less, but still very, very healthy looking at the moment. As Smacker, he's going to set up a stun onto Legend. Legend walks right into that, but no assistance from anything else. As the ulti comes through, Winter Wyvern Curse onto Smacker. He's just going to TP himself out of trouble. Don't think have enough damage close, but Lena does make herself scarce. Scant is being given a little bit of farm here in the jungle to try and get something up. He's probably going to be the ward bitch for most of the game here. Chosen has himself a crit, so not... I mean, he's going for a very, very aggressive build here, not really going for the BKB. all as we get TPs in on top lane. Nova here is going to try and start things off. He's going to just throw out the Fade Ball. Chelsea moves in. Does he get the Vacuum? It doesn't appear to be the case, as Rising Devil will be making himself a hasty retreat. Rock Lee, however, will be finished off. Chelsea getting that kill, and Ogre Magi getting the kill onto the line with the help of Chosen. So 2 dead for Duck at the moment, and things starting to escalate here. Carbon do lose the tier 1 tower in the bot lane, but they're getting a lot of kills and on the big heroes as well. Chosen currently 0-1-1, but has himself that Chrysalis. Smacker 6-1-3 has himself the Soul Booster as well, so he could very well, I think... No, he's actually going for it. Sorry, he's going to be completing the Bloodstone very, very shortly, and probably will then move into something a little bit more fighty. Scant is going to get the last stun off onto Legend, and Dark actually playing very aggressively. Will get themselves this tier 2 tower. They're going to force out a Glyph in the meanwhile, as it is going to force the side of Carbon to try and trade here. Smacker caught out in the cogs with Orestes, but he's just going to pop the invis and make himself another hasty exit as in comes Nova here. So they do trade a tier 2 for absolutely nothing, and Duck, they definitely came out better at that. I mean, they get a kill and tier 2 towers, whereas Carbon got 2 kills and basically nothing. So yeah, definitely a good play there by Carbon, and sorry, a good play there by Duck, and Carbon giving a little bit of something to think about, because Duck can really just do that again. I mean, next time Carbon decides to take a fight up on the top lane, well, you just send your Phantom Lancer to the bot lane, you know, put pressure on that tier 3. So it is going to just give Carbon a little bit of extra work to do. Push out the bot lane constantly is what will be necessary, and they'll be forced to send somebody down here the whole time. At the moment, that is Chosen, and I'm thinking maybe BKB next, or does he just go the whole hog and pick up the Daedalus next? That would be certainly interesting to see. Chosen would then just be a complete glass cannon in these fights. Scant hangs around in mid lane. What's he got flying out to him? I think it was just wards again. No, it is going to be the Daedalus. So Chosen is going no holds barred. He wants to just fight, and he wants to just kill things. Stuff surviving in these. Very much a berserker build, I think, coming out of Chosen here. We have 4 heroes smoked up in the jungle. Now, does Duck find anything there? Or... I mean, they do have quite a bit of vision with their ward here, and they will see Nova here in the mid lane. Scant as well as Smacker and Chelsea all in the area. They're going to start things off on Scant. The ulti comes through onto Chelsea from the Winter Wyvern. That's going to shut things down, as down goes both the... Well, before I can even get out of my mouth, the whole of Carbon is basically getting wrecked. A well-timed rocket there will finish off Lina, as only the Rubik escapes. He's going to, well, run himself to safety as Duck wins a massive fight there against Carbon. 4 down for the side of the Dire, and they're going to be losing a tier 2 as well here. Rubik's not going to be able to do anything, and they could very well take quite a bit of damage on the tier 3 if Duck decides to push. Do they decide to push though? That is the question, as Duck is just going to actually start pushing out the top lane tower. Tier 2 will be going down here, and Carbon realizing that if they get caught out, they get hunted very, very quickly. Smacker, the Bloodstone, not doing anything for him before losing those 3 charges, so he's sitting at 5 at the moment, definitely not where he wanted to be at the 21-minute mark. And if we take a look at that net worth, yeah, I mean, Duck has almost completely removed that entire lead from the side of Carbon. And XP, not quite as much, but very, very close to it as well. As we've got some fights coming through here. Orestes hanging around in the jungle. He could actually set up a very, very good counter gank here if Duck is interested in fighting. But Orestes is going to make himself scarce. So, very, very good ward vision here from the side of Duck. It means that they know exactly what Carbon is doing. And Carbon none the wiser at the moment, as they've now lost 2 of their tier 2s, and they've got nothing in response. Tier 1 still up in the mid lane, and that will be Carbon's next target. Duck will be doing what they can to try and trade here, but they might very well just settle for some damage. So Chosen, even after those deaths, is still top of the leaderboard. He's going to be going with the rest of his team into what looks to be a rush fight right now. And they'll most likely be placing that, I think, on either Smacker or Chosen. Most likely Smacker. Chosen, if he dies with the ulti on, I don't really know how much it's going to help them at all, since he doesn't get it back when he respawns. And transformation heroes are notoriously bad with the Sorry, with the Aegis, but it does look as though Chosen, or is it? Smacker starts with the stun. Yeah, no, Smacker, they are going to give it to him. So yeah, definitely, I think the more worthwhile pick up there. Oristus going to scout that out right at the last minute though, and be a little bit disappointed about that. Could very well have tried to steal it, but he's got himself quite far along the path to that. The ulti stick, as Legend will be killed in the mid lane by a combination of Smacker and Nova here.
Dire's top tower
So Duck
is under
trades a very important hero at the moment. Scant is going to be just... sorry, he's just going to be stacking up the Ancients here for his carry. But yeah, Duck, I don't know. They've been caught out a couple of times now, particularly the PL. I mean, PL's very, very far behind the other three cores of the teams in terms of net worth. He's sitting at 8-4. He's actually now just been passed by Chelsea, so definitely not where you want to be your hard carry Phantom Lancer to be at the 24-minute mark. Generally, you'd like him to be, you know, third or fourth. If a big fight comes through, then he can maybe get ahead, but he's very, very far behind at the moment. And falling further behind, I mean, as we speak, Sven could very well just finish him off before the fight even really begins with a God Strength crit. Oristus going to get spotted out here. He's going to try and make a move onto Nova here. The stun comes through onto Oristus. He is lifted and thrown out of his cogs. Notoriously bad for Rubik, and he's going to actually expand the ulti, and that'll finish off the Rubik. They're Rockley getting the last kill, and they will finish off the Darks here as well. Scant could be the next one. He's going to go down here as Chosen's trying to fight up. Chosen gets a kill onto the Clockwork with the help of the Lina. Lina's going to miss the stun there, but a lot of damage being done to the line. Does Chosen decide to fight here? Rockley's BKB has worn off, but the rest of the team is now in the area. Smacker might very well just go down. He's going to get off a stun right before he goes down. That is the Aegis though. Chosen not able to help his friend, and it could very well just be... No, it's not, as Smacker pops that Shadow Blade and gets himself to safety. The one big plus though is he's gotten Bloodstone charges back up to 8. So he's back where he started, and it's a small victory, but Carbon loses 3 there in the end. Duck will definitely be the happier after that, as none of their cores went down. Outside of the Clockwork, he is pretty much the sacrificial lamb, so yeah, not too concerned. But this ward again doing a hell of a lot of work for Duck, and I think when Carbon goes back and watches the replay, they will be kicking themselves that they didn't expect or didn't see the ward there, and probably will learn to ward there in future, especially like this one. I mean, it's pretty close, but still there's a lot of overlap with these two wards over here. So 16-17 going into the 26th minute, as Duck looks to just expand on this decent mid game they've had here. Carbon still in the lead ever so slightly. It's about 4,000 at the moment, and the XP graph is about 6,000, I'd say. So yeah, I mean, Duck is, well, the problem is that, like, right now, Rockley, the shorter his BKB becomes, the more liable he becomes to just get bursted down. They've set up a good number of ganks onto Carbon. Carbon has been pretty prone to the ganks. The deep wards obviously helping a lot, as I've said. And Carbon, I think if they get a set team fight, they could just really clear out Duck very, very quickly. Duck is really reliant on getting a good Clockwork ulti, which Oristus has been providing thus far. He really has been doing a good job there. Winter Wyvern as well has been useful with the Winter's Curse, as I mentioned in the draft. Really just shutting down the dangerous heroes on the side of Carb, rather than necessarily the cores every single time. Stacks continue here, as it does look as though they're setting up for a lot of farm for Chosen. He's going to go for the BKB now, completes the Daedalus before. And Scant will drop the Sentry Ward just to make certain that they aren't being watched. Smacker also in the area. Does have those boots of travel, so he can TP to any fight really at this time. Duck, they're looking to get aggressive, or are they? I think Carbon might very well get their wish here, as they're going to spot out everybody. Does the fight go their way? They're going to lift up Rockley to start off, and a good vacuum is going to set up 2 into that wall, but it looks like Scant's going to be the target here. Smacker's left uncontested at the moment. He's going to go for a 3-man stun. He's going to finish off the Lion. Scant's gone down. Rubik has gone down as well. The rest of the team is fighting up as quickly as they can. Chosen, however, is not able to do anything. He's caught out and will will be finished off. Phantom Lancer doing a number on him. Rock Lee will kill his opponent mid laner. Smacker goes down as Carbon once again lose 4 in these fights, and they just cannot man mode into DUC at the moment. They just don't have enough lockdown for Rock Lee. They don't have any way of stopping the Abyss ulti or the Clockwork, and DUC looks to be taking a very, very unexpected victory here in game 1. They're going to be taking themselves a tier 3 tower, will be grabbing themselves the melee barracks as well, and Carbon, well, I mean, I said they needed to get things done, and they haven't gotten it done as yet. DUC picks themselves up a completed lane of rack with a tier 3 on the back lane. Chelsea comes in with another good vacuum. Stun comes through onto Smack. He's going to drop the ulti onto Abyss. That gets finished off. Oris now left alone to die here, as they will allow Legend to escape. 2 heroes down for Arax, though, is not what Carbon will be looking for, as they have lost, I wouldn't say the most important lane, but certainly one of the more important ones. So yeah, Carbon have a lot of work to do. They are even in terms of net worth right now for the teams, and ahead in XP, so the kills are helping them, but I still have no idea how they're going to deal with Rock Lee or the rest of his team, because Rock Lee has himself a Skadi now, so he's super tanky. Legend has been virtually uncontested in the last couple of fights, and this Clockwork has just been doing all sorts of creating all sorts of problems for Carbon. He's generally trapped the heroes, you know, he's trapped the supports or the cores, like the fight over here, he got a good set of cogs, and it basically just trapped half of Carbon up here and like 3 of Carbon heroes over here, which just allowed DUC to take them apart piecemeal, and that is definitely not what Carbon wants. They've been on the end of some pretty good positioning, yeah, on the rough end of some pretty good positioning from DUC, and DUC is clearly making full advantage of it. They're going to start pushing out the top lane now, is DUC, and looking to put pressure on that tier 2 Carbon. Well, they're looking to farm at the moment. They can't really do a whole lot else. Chosen still looking for his BKB, and I think that item, once he has that, he'll be a lot less susceptible to getting caught out here, because at the moment Carbon, or in particular Chosen, he's just been kited around these fights, and he really can't bring that huge damage to bear, which he so desperately wants. And it's just made it very easy for DUC to get the upper hand here. Again, another man smoke from the side of DUC means that they are going to look for any potential kill. It's not going to happen. Legend will just take the tier 2 with the assists in the area. And Carbon not all that keen on fighting. Your Scant will move back into the base and look to fight. What is he going to do here, though? As Legend is going to start working on the tier 3 now. Carbon isn't really in the best position to take this fight, and even if they are, I mean, I don't really know what's going to happen. Smack is going to start off the stun. Do they get the ulti onto Legend? They do, so this is the perfect start of the fight. The ulti is going to be stuffed up by Abyss. A complete whiff there. Oris just jumps onto Smacker, trying to do what he can. Chelsea's going to vacuum him out there, and Rock Lee, he realizes that the fight is done and dusted. He's just going to retreat out. Oris might very well be a trade here. He's going to get finished off by the Lina. Do they get anything else? Scant is on the hunt, but he's not going to see Abyss in the trees, so it's just a 2 for 0, but a brilliantly taken fight there. Phantom Lancer getting finished off before the fight even starts, and the rest of DUC not keen on fighting at that stage. So yeah, very odd fight though. I mean, particularly Winter Wyvern whiffing the ulti that badly. I don't think you're going to see that happen again. So I mean, Carbon getting a bit lucky, but you need to be in the position to, you know, exploit that luck, and they certainly were. So a big win for them as they once again open themselves up a lead. The difference in XP is back past 7,500. And do they spot out Abyss? He's actually going to get forced off himself to safety there with Rising Devil in support. So lots of wards being placed here by Carbon. As Smacker is on the hunt. Does he spot anybody? He's got actually vision of the 2 supports. He's going to just drop the ulti onto poor old Lion. And Lion, not long for this world. Stun comes through, mistimed actually onto Orestes. But Chelsea jumps ahead, he's going to get a good back wall. And Legend might very well go down here before the fight breaks out again. He is he's actually saved by the Winter Wyvern. But Orestes goes down, and it doesn't look as though DUC is in any position to take this fight. Rockley now arrives, he's got no BKB activated. He could actually get finished off here, they decide to turn on him. Stun comes through as Legend runs right next to Rockley and sets up the double stun. What has happened here for DUC? Abyss is going to save him with the Cold Embrace for now, and will be forced to use the Glimmer Cape as well, but Rockley is in deep problems and he goes down. DUC has thrown away a massive advantage with a 4-man wipe here outside of their own base. Carbon are going to be going high ground now and might very well take a counter Rax on the top lane as they're going to jump ahead and they're going to try and get something done. Abyss gets a good ulti this time. That is going to be the end of Chosen, and Nova will use that stolen Requiem to get a kill onto the Lion in response. Lion will buy back. Shadow Fiend gets a kill onto the Rubik, and Carbon is in retreat. Smack is actually going to get caught up to Invis. Does he get the stun off? No, he's going to just try and run. He's going to be forced off to safety. Will drop the ulti onto the Lion in response, and Lion sent back to base with a smack on the head. And Carbon, very, very close to losing that fight, but taking a spectacular one before that. DUC, however, contributing to their own downfall, very much sticking a pipe into their own tire spokes as they very, very nearly lose a Rax off the back of that. And ulti comes through from Orestes onto some creeps just to try and farm up here. Chelsea's farming the jungle, so Orestes will be able to see him here. Has the ulti available in a couple of seconds. So does he jump onto Chelsea here? Doesn't spot Chelsea. So lots of pings coming out, and also one of the pings landing on Big Bad Roshan. As for the moment, Carbon just looking to recover after losing their hard carry Sven. And the next flashpoint will be this Rosh Pit. DUC setting up for a potential fight here. Legend is actually going to get caught up by the Clockwork ulti. He's not going to be able to make his way to safety, and will be finished off there. Rockley getting the last hit. Carbon, they will not be able to contest this fight, I don't think, without their docs here. He has in fact brought down. They realize exactly what's going on, so Carbon will be coming in pretty large force. Scant hanging around here for the middle for the moment. Does have the Blink Dagger as Carbon, they position themselves around the fight. DUC, do they do the same? They're actually going to send somebody into the middle, and that is Orestes, so he can come in with the long-range hook. The rest of the team is in the area, so Carbon are going to try and get cheeky here. Can they finish off the Roshan in time? Well, before DUC actually realizes what's going on. Very, very close. Roshan, very, very low speed. Now is the time for the Clockwork to come in. He's not going to come in time. He comes in half a second too late. He's not going to get there in time. Chosen is the one, gets hit with the Winter's Curse as Scant is hanging around in the area. He's actually going to get finished off first as Chosen is doing as much damage as he can, but the ulti comes through once again from the Chelsea Dogs here, and they will get 2 kills off the back of that. Lena picking up 2. Winter Wyvern as well as the Shadow Fiend. Sven gets a kill onto the Lancer, and the stun will miss onto Orestes. Chosen blinks ahead. He's going to try and finish off Orestes, but the Blade Mail for now will save him for a couple seconds longer. Smacker picks up the Godlike and the triple kill on top of everything. DUC loses 4 and the Rush. And all of a sudden, Carbon has opened themselves a massive advantage. Still down 1 Rax, still tier 4s under pressure, but they are now in the driving seat. DUC is not looking healthy at this stage with their BKBs running out on the Shadow Fiend, and Carbon really starting to play very, very well in these team fights. Chelsea in particular, that vacuum will just set up a brilliant fight there. I mean, what more can Winter Wyvern do? Unfortunately, it was a poor to start off with, so she can definitely improve on that, but her cold embraces have really been spot on at the moment. Problem is just they don't have enough damage to back up here. Smacker, he realizes that there's no buyback on the Shadow Fiend, so he's going to try and do as much damage to the tier 3 as possible. He's getting a bit of assistance now from Chelsea, and they could very well get a completed lane of Rax here. I mean, there's no cores available. They'll just take the tier 3 and retreat actually, as Legend does arrive on the Phantom Lancer. So Carbon, for the moment, are looking to take their first lane of Rax. As I said, they are very much in the driving seat now. They have complete control of the map. These deep wards not really helping DUC at the moment, since they aren't really on that side of the map, and neither is Carbon. So Carbon with the much better vision, the high ground vision, particularly up on the temple over there, and they'll start taking their second tier 2. They've got lots of heroes in the vicinity, Lots of methods of initiation as well. Half the team actually has a blink dagger. As in comes Sven from behind, he's just going to start going ham. He's going to finish off the Winter Wyvern before anything else. A good vacuum is going to set up a kill here onto Legend. Last hit will be finished off. They've chosen decided to attack the creeps just to get the splash damage through. Rockley's going to try and fight here, but he's going to get finished off as Chosen gets a triple kill on the Chosen hard carry Sven. Do they get another kill? Smacker very, very deep along with both Scant and Chelsea, and just looking to try and make space. Scant will be caught out here as Smacker will get the return kill onto Clockwork. Eats the finger of death from Rising Devil though, and will be able to make his way to safety. Chosen is on the warpath though, taking out buildings while the rest of his team does as much as they can to finish off heroes. Tier 3 in the mid lane, not long for this world. There's 4 heroes on the benches for Duck. Only the Lion alive and no buybacks available either. Well, never mind. The one buyback is expended, that's the Winter Wyvern, but I think Carbon, you know, if the Winter Wyvern's buying back and the rest of the team aren't, then they know that it's definitely their way. Smacker is invisible, so he's not going to get caught out there. Abyss will get finished off. Lena grabbing the last hit there as Nova throws out another stolen Requiem of Souls. Smacker goes beyond God like it's Chosen, starts to work on this top lane tower, and just like this, Duck has thrown it away. A series of basically 3 fights if that, has cost them the entire game as they're about to lose their second lane of Raxia. Chelsea will be doing as much punching as he can. Smacker's going to get targeted by Legend. The rest of the team's now trying to follow up, but Smacker invisible. They've done more than enough, I think. Oh, never mind. Nova, he's going to get caught out here. He's going to force himself to safety, try and lift. Oris throw him into the cogs to try and finish him, but that just sends up enough time for Rising Devil to arrive and finish off the Rubik. As Chelsea still hangs in the area, he's got himself the gem at True Sight. Actually, no, saving the gem off of the Rubik there, so good plays overall. Scant farming up the top lane at the moment. And all is quiet once again. Silver Edge completed, but yeah, Duck are in somewhat dire straits right now. I think they have to get something done. They actually can't fight Carbon. They can't fight Carbon in a straight up man fight anymore. Sven is just since he's grabbed that BKB, he's basically just become untouchable. And Duck don't have any way of dealing with him when it's up. Smacker has done a very good job at just hiding around the edges and finishing off heroes from the side. And Doxia, Chelsea has been getting some pretty damn amazing vac walls as well. So it's a very, very difficult situation here for Duck to try and pull through, as the Aegis does wear off as well at the same time. 24 Bloodstone charges. Smacker started off with basically 15 because he got the Bloodstone, then died almost immediately afterwards, and he's at 24. That is just monstrous at the moment, as it sounds like Chelsea is going to be caught out. He's going to force off himself into the river. Oris is trying to follow up here, but this could just set up a good fight. Chosen actually comes in on the back lane there with Scant Abyss is caught out here on the high ground. And no stun available until Chosen arrives with the Storm Hammer. And there's no way that's missing. Legend, he's just farming up in the mid lane here. I mean, surely this is not the best idea in the world. Nova is going to realize... okay, so disconnect. Yeah, it looked funny. I mean, there's no way Legend hangs around in that area when there's 4 heroes in the nearby vicinity. So, guys, pause comes through as we will wait for Legend to reconnect now. But Carbon, I think, are odds on to win this game. Very, very close. Sorry, Carbon, very, very close to actually losing this game at a point, but that fight on the top lane tower at the tier 2, where Carbon just wrecked the whole of Duck. I don't know what Duck was thinking there. It's like TPing one by one in. I mean, the biggest fault there was, I think, maybe the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend TP'd in, and he just expended his ulti in base. Oh, sorry, his BKB in base. Now, what is he going to do? He's going to TP in and he's just going to die. Like, he doesn't have the BKB, so he can't stop any stun. He can't stop the vacuum. He can't stop Lena possibly stunning. There's nothing he can do at that point to protect himself. There's nobody in the vicinity. And Carbon were just like, okay, well, it's feeding time, so let's just go ham. Picking up 4, putting pressure on the tier 3, then going into the Rosh pit, winning a fight there. So, I don't know. Duck, this is a heavy 3-2-2. I don't know. It just seemed like they for that 10 seconds or 15 seconds of that fight, they just didn't think. And it's basically ricocheted so badly on them. I mean, you could see at one point they'd started off at about a 7,500 gold deficit, and they brought it back to even. And then just look at that. Look at the spikes from the losses there. And I mean, the XP doesn't tell quite the same graph, but I don't know. Duck making a massive mistake here. Carbon, keeping themselves in. They've always actually been ahead in this game. I think maybe a couple of seconds behind at most, but they've been clutch. They've won the fights when they needed to win the fights. Particularly when when presented with a duck mistake, they've been ruthless at exploiting it. So Carbon, well on their way to picking up the first win in this best of 3. Well, I mean, let's look on the bright side for the moment. What can Duck do to take these fights? Or is this he's still been pretty good? I mean, the problem is he's getting very, very soft now and trying to deal with particularly the Sven. So he's got that issue on his hands. But I think he can still do a pretty good job if he can get off a good set of cogs early on, or get an early ulti into the fight and just separate the whole of Carbon from the Sven. I think that Duck has the potential to win it. Smacker obviously will be difficult to bring down himself. But right now it is Chosen doing most of the heavy lifting. So if you can separate these two, kill off Chosen or kill off Smacker first, before the other one is able to provide assistance, then I think Duck is, I wouldn't say the best chance of winning the fight, but a reasonable one of taking the fight. It's just, the problem is that you're dealing with these two beastly cores, and then you got a young man by the name of Chelsea, who's jumping in and just making your team fight with almost pitch perfect vacuum walls at the moment. So it's very, very difficult for Duck to win these fights when not only do they have these two cores to contend with, they have a Darkseer doing any number on their positioning in these fights. So yeah, guys, what we are watching tonight is the Dota 2 Gigabyte Challenge for South Africa. Sides before us, Carbon. The sides before us are Carbon and Duck. As I said, Carbon, one of the, I'd say at the very least, top 3 in the country, if not, I mean, there's an argument for them being the number 1 in the country at the moment. So this game is expected for them to win. Duck are doing pretty well, have been doing pretty reasonably until they throws this game. But Carbon could still perhaps lose it in a catastrophe of a fight. I find that highly unlikely. I think Carbon is really, really pretty much 99% chance to win this game at the moment. We're just waiting for the DC to return. Legend apparently PC reset, so if we can get that going, we can get ourselves into game 2 as soon as possible here. But yeah, let me just see if I can find any other results for you guys quickly. So if you guys just give me, say, 10 seconds, I'll see if I can find you something. Okay, so doesn't appear as though there have been any updates in the games thus far, and all I can tell you guys is the loser of this game falls into the second round of the losers bracket. They will be playing up against a number of teams that actually played tonight, one of whom was, I know Ventus won their game. I see Reversal Esports won their game as well. So a number of good teams sitting in the lower bracket at the moment. It was 8 invited teams and 8 teams through the qualifiers. Both of these teams were invited though, so we will be getting a fairly good set of games coming up now, as Legend is actually on Dota, so he'll be reconnecting very, very soon, and Carbon will be looking to just press home their victory here in game 1. Yeah, I must say though, unfortunately, Legend. I mean, I don't know if he's had lag problems. I know that they have been pretty widespread at the moment on the servers, but Legend hasn't really been able to find farm this game. I mean, Carbon did a very good job. For some reason, they were given a solo, like a solo lane at times for their Darkseer up against the PL. So I mean, that was just a dream for Chelsea there. He got off to a wonderful start, but Carbon also did a very good job in the laning stage, and in that early part of the mid game where they just really shut down Legend. They killed him off a number of times. He was never really able to get his farm going. Even now, I mean, a Manta Style and a Diffusal Blade at 41 minutes, you'd ideally love to have a PL at least 4 slotted. I mean, here he's basically 2 slotted. The Vlad's not really offering that much. Something like a Scard he could have done well, maybe an S and Y if you hadn't found enough money at the time. But the PL would or should have actually been farmed a lot more than he is currently, and that all comes down to Carbon's laning strategy, where they put a lot of pressure on the lane. They took out the early towers, but then fell into a number of bad fights, and Duck was able to win a lot of those fights with some very, very good vision. I think all of those fights actually taking place in the dire jungle there. So Carbon, a little bit iffy. As I said, if they go back and watch the replays and they see how much vision that they had on them, they'll understand why they could keep losing those fights over and over and over, despite seemingly, having the better position and the better farm at the time. So, yeah, we do have a reconnect. It looks like everybody's ready to go. Windows 10. Alrighty then. So should be good to go. Legend probably will be allowed to run to safety here, or at least TP himself to safety. Yeah, he's going to make himself scarce, and it looks like Smack is on the hunt again. Oristus is going to be the target this time. He's going to try and pop the blade mail, keep himself alive a little bit longer. Chosen very close to getting himself below half HP there with a couple of right clicks. Smacker as well, and they will survive for now. Legend tries to just slow down Chosen. Not really going to work. As Chosen TPs to the top lane, and 2 shots, and he picks himself up the ranged barracks. So going to be pretty keen on that. Legend, he's going to get stunned. Well chosen there by Scan, as the hard carry Sven comes to the party now. Does Legend make his way out of trouble? Well, no, he doesn't, as Rising Devil gets off a good usage of the Hex and ulti, and that'll just slow things down. Clockwork has now disconnected from the game. He is dead, so I don't think it's going to be too long, and I don't know if his PC reset as well. It might just be a general disconnect. I mean, we have expected that in the past. We've experienced it quite a bit of late on the SA servers. Chelsea pushes out the bot lane at the moment. He's going to use that Shiva's Guard to just clear the creep wave along with the Iron Shell. And Carbon will be setting up for tier 3 push on the bot lane, as the pause will now come out for the disconnected Clockwork. So yeah, I mean, as I expected, it's just one of those drops to the lobby, or drops to the main menu. Not quite certain why it happens. Sometimes I guess it's just hashtag reborn things, because there's been a number of problems. Hopefully they don't continue for too much longer. I mean, a lot of them have been fixed. Everybody, I think, remembers the night of the Dire Ancients, where you could walk up here and find a 10 stack that had just magically appeared because the spawn boxes were a bit messed up. Chelsea, well, what does he go for next? He's sitting at 3.7k gold. Mask of Madness, I mean, he could maybe trade that out for the Mjolnir if you felt like it. It would add a little bit more damage. Rocky. And then he could maybe go for a little bit more damage as well, trade out the Blink Dagger, but I think he's just about ready to take this fight. There's nothing that Duck can really do to contest in this fight if Carbon get a good start to it. And we'll wait for the moment, as Creep Wave is required. It's actually pushing in from the top lane as well, so Carbon could maybe just try and get a bit of backdoor damage done here, but they'll just let the creeps push in. And here we go. Attempt number 2. Ulti comes out from Horus. He's going to catch 2 in the cogs there at the moment, but he's going to get vaporized inside those cogs, as on the back lane, Winter Wyvern and the rest of the team is going absolutely ham. Chosen sitting up alone here. He's going to get a kill onto the PL, and the last one will be Rock Lee. He is in the grave. All 5 gone for Duck. And the GG well played should come out. Your Carbon will be grabbing themselves their last tier 3, and the Mega Creeps are soon to follow. Carbon taking a, I wouldn't say the most convincing of victories, but certainly a hard fought one that I think over the course of the game they probably deserved. They were ahead the whole time. There was sections where Duck was ahead after a number of good team fights, but Carbon always just they were always just farming correctly, and it really took a series of fights for them to actually get to even, and then immediately struck back with a number of good fights in their own right. So Carbon takes game 1 here up against Duck. They are 1-0 up in the best of 3. This is the upper bracket, guys, of the Dota 2 Gigabyte Challenge in South Africa. My name is Prophecy, casting for Nav TV, guys. The second lobby will be up in about 5 or 10 minutes, so you can catch us then. Hopefully we won't have any disconnects, and hopefully we won't have any problems connecting to lobbies, and then we should be good to go very, very soon. So thank you very much, guys, and catch us in game 2. Bye-bye.
Horus.
see smiles of the long lost and reunited. You see tears of parting ways and fears. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
Hello again, ladies and gents, and welcome to Game 2 between the sides of Carbon, Doto, and DUC in the Gigabyte Dota 2 challenge in South Africa. As Carbon taking a hard-fought victory in Game 1, always ahead, but DUC able to win numerous team fights off the back of some very, very good wards. And Oristus in particular just playing spectacularly on his clockwork there, so really giving Carbon quite a run for their money. Carbon, however, taking in response a series of dodgy fights from DUC, actually. Dodgy in the sense that DUC just tended to feed themselves away at odd times, and Carbon took the fights convincingly, and then after that basically just worked from there and went absolutely ham on what remained of DUC. And 2 Raxes later, DUC fell, couldn't really do anything. So Carbon Dota always ahead in the game, but shaky at times. Off the back of some good plays from DUC. Anyway, going into this draft, we have Spirit Breaker and Winter Wyvern banned out by Carbon, and Leshrak as well as Undying are removed. So DUC has gotten themselves the Bounty Hunter first up, and this is a dangerous hero for Scan to give up here. It's I mean, as I said in Game 1, and I've been saying for quite a while, it's I think every cast has actually been saying for quite a while, is that it's I mean, the amount of pressure it can place on a mid lane can really wreck that mid laner's early stages. It can get a pick off on a courier. We've already seen one of those tonight. The fact that the track can snowball your team massively off even small wins can really create problems for a side like Carbon Dota. So things have to be played perfectly here by Carbon, and they cannot afford to allow this Bounty Hunter to get ahead. And Carbon, well, they're going with an extremely old school combination here. Haven't seen this one probably in about 18 months, if not longer. And that'll be the Marauder and the Bane. So can they do the amount of work that they used to? I don't think so. Bane has been buffed recently so that his brain sap is a little bit stronger than it previously was. The mana, I think, was reduced, if I remember correctly. Marana hasn't been touched, but hasn't been touched by players either. Just sort of fell off the face of the earth. Nobody really plays it these days, very rarely, if at all. South Africa does still have a little bit of love for her, but by and large, Marana is very, very much forgotten. DUC looking for their second pick up here. They do have an option on the Tusk. I wonder if they will be making use of that option. Carbon, I don't know, might be a little bit iffy at giving that up to them. I don't really know if it was the best idea. Otherwise, something like the Gyrocopter could do quite a bit of work here. But this Bane and Marana combo, they can really cause all sorts of nightmares, particularly in something like, say, the mid lane. You can set up multiple kills there on the opponent mid laner for whoever you want to send up against Lucker. Oh, sorry, for whoever you want to send up against Smacker. And largely, I think DUC again going for the... No, it was Carbon that actually picked up the Rubik. Interesting that both these teams place such a high premium on the Grand Megas. It's a good hero, but I mean, I don't really know if it's justifiable in the first round. Carbon, unlikely to ban it out, I think. I mean, look, Rubik can do quite a bit of work. He can obviously steal the Moonlight Shadow from Rana. He can steal the Sacred Arrow. He can steal a lot of good spells from these two heroes alone. But would he have been banned out is the question. So I don't know. Something just tells me I don't think that DUC fully thought through that pick. I mean, like, as I said, highly unlikely that you're going to ban out the Rubik. So you could have gotten something like the Tusk. You could have gotten the Lina if you felt like it, Quap even, and you had first ban. So I think it would have been much more advantageous to go for something a little bit stronger than the Rubik is now. But anyway, Phantom Lancer is banned out by DUC. They're not keen on giving that hero to Carbon if they're not going to use it themselves. Carbon, I think, likely to ban out. Would it be? I think Carbon probably going to ban out the Anti-Mage here, pick up the Gyrocopter, or pick up the Shadow Fiend. I think I'll say probably the Anti-Mage here. You don't really want to give DUC that kind of hero. It's not the easiest hero for them. Also, it's not the most difficult hero for them to ban to lock down, since they do have the Bane Marana. But he's always going to be an irritation, and it's not the kind of hero you want to deal with. So they will ban out the Anti-Mage. As I said, Carbon got a number of picks here. I think the Gyrocopter would actually work pretty well. You can set him up with the Sleep. Bane Marana combo obviously can set up very, very easy kills for the Gyrocopter in the early stages. So I think it's a hero that can do quite a bit of work all around. And other options, maybe they could go with something in the mid lane that could also benefit from this combo. I mean, there's not much that doesn't benefit, but yeah, Windranger is not too bad of a pick. I was gonna say maybe something a little bit more bursty, but Windranger probably the best of the bunch. Walk in there and guarantee the raises if there's multiple TPs that are coming in. Windranger can also provide her own stun, so she can help out something like the Marana or the Bane if they do make small mistakes. And I mean, good all-round hero. It can carry throughout the game as well, and does a decent amount of right clicks. So a good all-round hero, I think, the Windranger. DUC, they've got a number of options here as well. Do they take a second shot at the Shadow Fiend? Didn't do too terribly in game one. Never really farmed as much as you'd like it to, though, especially considering that it didn't have the roughest of early stages. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't feel that the Shadow Fiend did that much in game one. Other options they could go for is something like a Storm Spirit here. There's quite a bit of lockdown for him, though, which is a problem. Fiend's Grip in particular could be a real annoyance for him. But then again, they do have the Rubik, and Bane is unlikely to get a BKB early, so I think I'd take a chance here on the Storm Spirit. I think it's a decent enough hero, and it can cause enough ructions in Carbon's ranks that if it gets off to a good start, it could very well carry them through the game. Legend in particular has been a very, very good Storm Spirit in the past. Rockley is currently the mid laner. Legend used to be it, so it could just be the dynamic between the two. But they're going to grab themselves the God of Thunder. Again, I don't understand why they're picking up Zeus. Okay, they were very, very low on time, so obviously having quite the discussion about this, but I mean, surely you'd want to go for something else? Zeus is going to do okay in the mid lane against the Windranger. I mean, he's always going to find his farm. You can never really stop a Zeus here, but I don't understand the logic in picking up a Zeus here. Rather saving from the last pick so that you can get heroes that are able to do more, because right now DUC's laning stage is going to be pretty horrible, if we're honest. I mean, Rubik alone is not really going to set anything up. Bounty Hunter is going to cause a bit of, or he's going to place quite a bit of harassment on the Windranger. But Carbon Doto, they have killing potential. DUC doesn't really. They have a lot of harass potential. Zeus can maybe get a pick off or two if he rotates to a lane, or if Bounty really sets him up well on the Windranger. But by and large, DUC have very passive lanes here, apart from the mid lane, which is going to get helped out by Bounty. And Carbon, well, they're going to go for a hero that I haven't seen in a very long time in competitive play, and a hero that I genuinely love to see in competitive play. That's the Abaddon, a favorite of a favorite of well-known drafters such as PPD and Goblak. It just means that your laning stage is beastly. There's no way that you can actually kill anything off with an Abaddon in the lane. He's just so damn strong, and he provides a hell of a lot of utility in the early stage, or at all stages of the game almost. That Aphotic Shield can prevent any stuns from DUC. It removes a lot of negative status effects as well. He's got a heal, he can deny himself, he's got the borrow time. So yeah, Carbon, I like this pickup on the Abaddon. It is countered by the Omni Knight, so Carbon is going to be doing a lot less physical damage, but I still think that DUC, I don't know, like it just seems like a very, very odd laning stage here. It's going to be an off-lane Omni on Orestes. Orestes, I believe, is the South African off-laner that I saw playing Omni the last time, doing a hell of a lot of work here. The biggest problem, though, is that as far as I remember, the repel, the Abaddon slow with the Curse of Avernus will be going through the Omni repel. If the Abaddon is played as the carry, which I think is unlikely, then he could be pretty good. Otherwise, I believe Marana will be the carry here. A little bit unorthodox these days, but could still do a decent job. Does mean that Carbon is fairly heavily reliant on right click, which Omni is spectacular against, obviously with the Guardian Angel. But yeah, Duck still probably looking for a good frontliner. Interesting that they ban out the Gyrocopter. Oh dear lord. Oh dear lord. So Carbon get themselves that 5th pick Huskar, which has been ruining everybody's lives in pubs and competitive play. He is pretty weak against the Omni Knight, to be fair. So that is a plus, but the rest of Duck is not so lucky. The rest of Duck is made of paper mache and wooden twigs, and they are going to be burnt alive by the power of this Huskar. And Duck are going to pick themselves up the Clinks. So a good pickup against the Huskar, I think. Clinks, a lot of physical damage against a hero that doesn't really have high values on armor. But Carbon, as I suspected, it is going to be a... Wait a minute, how's this running? A mid lane Huskar? Ooh, that is dirty, Carbon. That is dirty. So they grabbed themselves a Huskar. Smacker has picked it up, which means that Rockley has to contest with his worst nightmare in the mid lane. Zeus, generally pretty strong against heroes that, need to get up close and personal with him. But Huskar just takes no magic damage whatsoever. So Huskar is going to be just monstering the Zeus in the mid lane. They're constantly forcing him back. And with this Bane Marana combo that could off the lane at any time, it really is not going to be a fun time. As well as Bane's Nightmare allowing Huskar to get very, very close and set up quite a bit of those stacks of the fire burning speed. So Duck have to do a ton of work here because their early game is not spectacular, to say the least. Legend can do quite a bit of work. Zeus doesn't really offer a lot. Orestes on his Omni Knight, he's tanky, but I mean he's not going to be impossible to kill. Abyss obviously will not be helping out on the lane, and Rising Devil is not the best ganking laner. So Duck has a lot of work to do. They certainly can do it. This lineup, if it snowballs, can actually do quite a bit of work on Carbon. But anyway, guys, quick couple of introductions. This is the Dota 2 Gigabyte Challenge in South Africa. Teams before us are Duck up against Carbon, and Carbon currently holds a 1-0 lead in this best of 3. Again, Duck choosing first pick, Carbon choosing Dire side, so Duck will be playing on the Radiant. That will run by Abyss on the Bounty Hunter of this game, Rising Devil on the Rubik, Orestes picking up the Omni Knight, Rockley will be running mid lane on the Zeus, and Legend will be running what appears to be off-lane Clinks for the moment. So interesting setup here. Carbon, however, they're going to respond with a chosen Marana, Smacker handling that Huskar probably in the mid lane, Scant will be grabbing the Bane, Nova will be picking up the Abaddon, and Lucker will be grabbing the Wind Ranger. So fight's going to break down here at the bottom rune as Scant as well as Nova here trying to do what they can to help out Lucker. Lucker taking quite a bit of damage here. Scant now going to be the one turned on. He's going to eat the brains of Abyss. The heal comes through and they're actually going to get the first blood onto Lucker. Might they get a double here as Nova is on very, very low HP, forced to use the Aphotic Shield and get himself to safety. But in the end, Duck picks up the first blood and Carbon off to the worst start possible, as they will not be happy with how things went there. Carbon does look to be running dual lanes, as they have the Abaddon. As I said, Abaddon really, really tanky on, or helps make his fellow heroes tanky, and will be assisted down here by Lucker. So just giving Lucker a bit of assistance in the early stages could pay dividends once she hits that mid-game fairly formed. Scant will be killing off a Observer Ward and trying to get a movement onto Legend. He is going to miss that stun is chosen. But I like this lane. It's a bit different. I mean, generally you'll see it used to be the old Marana Bane combo as a support, or as a set of supports. Now we see Carbon trying to run them as a carry and a support Scant, trying to win a right-click battle versus the Klings. Probably not going to go his way anytime soon, as we do actually get dual lanes in response from DUC. So Abyss is moving up here now. He's going to try and work onto Scant. Scant already sees him. A good early placement of the sentry ward means that the captain of Carbon will be able to make things happen here. Legend takes a bit of damage, but does quite a bit in response onto Bane. Bane's going to move in now. They don't have any vision on Abyss, so Chosen could be severely harassed if Abyss decides to hang around here, as well, all of Carbon on fairly low HP. And interestingly enough, I mean, this series has seen a surprising lack of bounty hunter picks or bans, and especially with the lineup that DUC running this game, I think a bounty hunter might have done quite a bit of work here. A lot of harassment potential from his side, and bounty would have profited. Not bounty, Bloodseeker would have profited pretty heavily off the back of that. Just getting that thirst and doing quite a bit of damage. So it looks like we got some lag on the side of DUC, and oh, okay. So little brothers and little sisters on the internet. Quite the pain, as Smacker is handling the mid lane with a plum at the moment. 12 and 3 up against 8 and 0. Rockley not all that keen to get involved in the mid lane here, as Smacker takes a bit of harassment from the Lightning, but he's just so tanky against that. He's not really all that concerned. Abaddon grabs himself a double damage down in the bot lane. And for the moment, actually, again, Carbon coming out of these early stages with, I wouldn't say a big lead, but a lead in the last hits and denies, and certainly looking quite healthy for them, as Lucker is very, very decent. I mean, sorry, not Lucker. The Windranger is actually a very, very decent carry if it comes to that. Not really the best against Oristus, since Oristus will get off the Guardian Angel. But quite a lot of work can be done here, as we've got a TP in from Legend. They're going to try and make something happen here on Nova, but he is home and away, as they are now going to swap things around. So just trying to secure level 3 on the Omni before rotating him down, rotating him up and swapping with Legend. Legend obviously the one who is going to be carrying, so you definitely want to make certain that he gets his farm, and popping him down on the bot lane with a bit of assistance certainly going to help him in that respect. Abyss hangs in the mid lane. He's going to look to start harassing Smacker, who is just... Well, he's now starting to open up a big, big gap on the Zeus. Only 8 lost hits right now, but it's just the fact that he can play so aggressively in the lane, as, well, Smacker is trying to do what he can here up against Abyss. He's going to try and turn things around now. Abyss is forced to retreat as Smacker just man modes both heroes, and he's more than happy to take these fights at the moment. He's building himself towards the Helm of the Dominator first up, and could very well just rock this lane. I mean, at the moment he's well, as I said, I mean, when you're playing this aggressively with the creep wave over here, and Rockley not even able to really enter the lane, that's when you know that it's just the sheer presence of Smacker's Husker at the time that, like, Carbon or that the DUC player just doesn't want to get involved. He's like, yeah, no, I'll let you have the lane, and that is a dangerous precedent to set, because that is exactly what Husker wants, and that is exactly what Husker needs. And once he gets off to starts like that, that's when you see 17-2 Huskars that just monster everybody. So DUC playing a dangerous game at the moment with not doing any sort of rotation onto the Huskar, and that is the one problem, as I said, with the Rubik. Rubik is not a very, very aggressive support, and particularly in combination with the Bounty, there's not a lot going to happen here. So Carbon have picked very strong lanes, and they're not going to lose them anytime soon unless they make some severe misplays. And because of that, DUC has no real method of making anything happen in the exact time when they do need to make things happen. Abyss is going to now move in here onto Lucker, but Lucker, I mean, he's copying a bit of damage, but he's immediately going to retreat, slowed up there, but will just turn on the wind run and make his way to safety. Up on top lane, Scant and Chosen account for Oristus, and that will be the first kill for the side of Carbon. And a very, very valuable one, as the Bane gets himself closer to that all-important level 6. Chosen is hitting level 5 as well, so 2 important levels on the top laners there. Nova hanging around in the mid lane. He's just continuing to add to the harass potential here. Zeus is going to go grab himself the mana boots, but he's out of the lane for a little while longer, which means that Smacker continues to build a lead here, and a lead that is starting to look fairly significant. 34-7 up against 19-0. Smacker is well on his way. He's actually gone for the armlet first, so again, another early game fighting item. Carbon does not look to take this game very late at all. Lucker down on bot lane. He's trying to work his way through here. We have 3 heroes up against 2. One of them, however, is that Abaddon, and that means that it's very, very unlikely that they're going to get a kill on these 2. They're going to turn on the aphotic shield and try and make something happen here. Damage comes on to Nova. He might actually end up trading his life as Klinks will get the kill with the help of the Zeus ulti. Lucker forced to retreat out. Scant has arrived in play though, and they could very well do enough damage. He does. He eats, well, a non-existent brain of Klinks, and that'll be the end of the legend life. Lucker pops the dust. Scant actually pops the dust, and they could account for Abyss here as well. Carbon looking to get a big trade, and they do, trading only the earlier kill of Nova for a good turnaround kill. As in mid lane, it looks as though, well, Smacker's had enough. He's going to go ham onto onto Rock Lee now. Gets the first kill there, and good usage of the armlet keeps him alive for longer. Legend is on the hunt though. It could very well get a kill here onto Smacker. If he times this right, he's not going to time it right. As Smacker gets off the ult once again onto Legend. Now he's doing tons of damage. Could he get a kill on Legend? He does. And Smacker, well, the snowball has started, and DUC has got to find a way to stop it right now. Abyss is going to get caught out. Scant is in the area. He does have a sentry ward to spot out here, and Abyss is going to go down. A triple kill for Smacker. This cannot be happening. He's going to go for a 4th. He does get a 4th. Smacker, well, actually, never mind. Scant will steal that one from Smacker, but this is DUC's worst nightmare incarnate right now. Smacker comes off a decent first 5 minutes with a triple kill and an assist, and this is when he just starts snowballing like an absolute madman. 1,300 net worth. That also got Scant his mana boots, so might very well have been the reason why he was allowed to take the last hit there. Down on bot lane, meanwhile, the travails continue for DUC as Legend is now rotating into the lane. He is only level 4. That is the same level as the Abaddon, who has died once and been pushed out of the lane. So Carbon looking very, very strong. In the mid lane, however, they just do account for Huskar. Huskar taking a brave fight against 3 people and dying. So not quite as strong as he believed, not quite as strong as I was hyping him up to be. And he pays for it with his life. So a pretty decent kill there, going the way of the Omni Knight, 546 gold. And Omni certainly will be putting that to good use. He's going to grab himself the Soul Ring, and will be completing that very, very soon as well. Scant, meanwhile, left to his own devices in the mid lane, where he's going to be picking up that level 6. And here we go. Chosen on the top lane, actually going very, very aggressive onto Orustus here. Does he decide to pop the ulti? He's actually not picked it up at level 8 yet, so, doesn't really need it on his team, so they'll be playing a little bit less aggressively for the moment. Abyss is on the hunt though, scouting out Chosen, so don't think they can set anything up here, as Chosen will be grabbing himself that haste. Smacker, well, he wants blood and he wants it soon, so he'll just decide he'll take the tower instead. As Chosen is spotted out here, Abyss still on the hunt, and again, this deep vision, or this vision for DUC is working wonders. Chosen's going to spot at Orustus. Now I don't know if... Oh, what has Orustus done? I think that's a big mistake there, as it is going to allow Smacker to come in. He's going to start working onto Orustus now. They don't have any magic resistance, so he's just going to keep working. Rockley takes a ton of it. He's probably going to be going down here. Rising Devil might be the next one. Marana has gone down. Huskar will get finished off by Abyss, though. He's going to get himself at very least 2 kills. And Abyss is level 6. Just got it though, so no track gold as yet. But this is when he starts getting scary. So DUC now has their most important ability, I think, for the stage online, and Abyss has to make certain that he does not die in these fights. He cannot die early, but he also needs to get off a good number of tracks. So he has to tread that fine line of not being too aggressive while still being close enough to get the tracks off and getting them off regularly. As we see TP's down to the bot lane. Orustus is keen to help out Legend here. It is up against Nova as well as Lucker. Scant is rotated into the area, and Scant, what a time to place down that sentry ward. And that'll be the end of Klinks once again, his brain being eaten by The Bane ulti comes through onto Orestes. Do they have enough to finish him off? They do. They do indeed. As Scant is going to try and run for the hills. He's going to make it out of there. Rockley looks to try and get a kill, but he's going to run himself into a whole lot of trouble, and it will be finished off there. Huskar getting the last hit there with that burning spear damage. Going to dust himself and go for the kill onto Abyss. Abyss goes down. 4 in trade for a Duck, and Carbon is once again on the rampage, not taking any nonsense from the side of Duck. And Duck really don't know how to react. In the meanwhile, Chosen busy working on this bottom lane tower. So Carbon, well, they picked an early game lineup and they are certainly making it work. 2 tier 1 in the bag, 13 kills as well, and important kills on all of the Duck cores. They've shut down the Clinks once again. He's got absolutely nothing except the Ring of Aquila and a set of boots. So Duck playing a very, very dangerous game here if they have any any hope of coming back, because at the moment Carbon is just pretty much walking over them. It is the 10-minute mark, so let's take a look at that net worth, and that is brutal reading for Duck fans right now. Is it just about 8k in the lead for Carbon in terms of net worth. XP slightly less, just above 5, but it is still not a good sign for Duck, because this is basically when Carbon is, I wouldn't say at their strongest, but certainly when their spike starts to happen, and Duck is very, very far behind on that curve as well. A little bit of work being done on Roshan here. It's not going to be as quick as they would have liked, but for the moment things are going according to plan. Chosen will just throw out a fishing arrow, not really going to land anything except a centaur, so might just help out the side of Duck with a bit of farming there. Smack had taken quite a while to actually finish off Roshan here. It is Scant that went for that early medallion, and it does look as though Roshan will eventually get on 15 stacks of the... Here we go. Aegis goes down, and Huskar picks that up. Chosen continuing to farm out in the mid lane. We'll go for him, that set of drums, just getting himself a little bit tanky, allowing his team to chase down in these fights. Smacker will be tracked up. Orestes, he looks interested in taking a fight, but oh well, that vision allows Smacker to just go up, and the stun is going to miss for the moment. Smacker might very well trade his life here, but he's going absolutely ham onto Rockley. Rockley will go down. The Aegis is expended. Out comes the Lucker Arrow, and that's going to finish off Zeus for the moment. Bounty Hunter gets hunted by Bane, as the rest of the team is now just filing in. And Orestes will be finished off there. Rising Devil doing what he can, but Chosen is actually... Well, he's tracked up. He's going to throw out an arrow. It is going to land onto Legend, and it looks like the first 5-man wipe of the game is real. Carbon loses absolutely nothing and takes the heads of Duck. All started by Smacker jumping up from the low ground to the high ground with a decent set of vision. And things are looking grim for Duck, because right now Carbon has opened that lead to the past the, or cracking that 12,000 mark very soon, and the XP a little bit further behind. But I mean, generally when they say that it's 1,000 gold per minute behind, it's not looking good. Duck don't have the heroes to really contest this in the late game, and Carbon don't even look like they're going to allow Duck to get there. So the last time they picked this lineup, it worked pretty well. Orestes got off to a good start, but this game, he's just been absolutely murdered by this constant harass of Carbon. Smacker as well has just been doing a spectacular job in mid lane, but this is the thing. I mean, you know, Huskar at this moment, every pro and their mom has been complaining about how potent Huskar is. It's almost as bad. I think it was Ortizi that said that right now he would take a 5th pick Brood over a 5th pick Huskar against him. It's that bad. That Huskar is just like completely dominant. He's able to farm so quickly, and he's able to dominate his lane so easily that it really becomes an absolute nightmare for any opponent to deal with him. And generally, when he's like, you know, when in that early stage, you're not doing a hell of a lot of right-click damage, so you have no way to contest him. And by the time you can do the right-click damage, he's generally got something like the armlet or the what is it? The helm of the Dominator. So he's got a lot of armor by the time you can fight him at that. And then by the time he's fallen off, as he's going to just jump onto Abyss here. Abyss is the next target. Abyss is just going to pop that repel and try to run for his life. Legend, however, is going to get caught out. Ulti comes through from the Bane onto the Omni Knight, and Chosen caught out by his own arrow. And they will lose 2. Actually, yep, they'll only lose 2. Ulti popped on Nova just to get himself that heal. as Carbon looks to take their next tier 2, or their first tier 2 of the game. Smacker will stand here and start throwing out the damage. Actually, he's going to decide to turn his attention to the creep wave. The rest of Carbon piles in here, and Duck falling further and further and further behind. If we look at that net worth graph, that is grim reading at the moment. Only the Zeus prevents a full 5-man lineup holding the top net worth there for Carbon. And Duck, well, I mean, they have a bounty, but the bounty's been just about useless this game. He's gotten very, very few tracks off that have been of any real relevance in fights. They haven't even won a fight, I think, since he's gotten to his level 6. So things not looking good yet. Nova on on half HP, as the rest of Duck trying to chase him down. But with Smacker standing in the front lines, there's very, very little that Duck can actually do to contest here. On top of the Solar Crest that has already been picked up, a 15-minute Solar Crest on Scant. Smacker is just going to monster anybody that goes for him now. Legend's going to try and do some damage, but Smacker doesn't really care a whole lot. The Shackle will miss onto Orissus, and they're going to try and fight. Smacker taking quite a bit of damage now. He doesn't have the Aegis this round, and Scant will pop the dust to try and slow things down here. Smacker, forced to retreat. He's on very, very low speed. He's going to try and turn around onto Legend. Do they have enough damage to kill him off? They do, but right before that, right after that, down will go the Clinks. Rockley is the next target. Scant will be going there. Nova comes in to try and just do a bit of body blocking, and they will pick themselves up both the Omniot as well as Abyss and the Zeus in back play as well. Rubik is the only escapee from that murder. And Carbon are just monstering at the moment. Another 4-man wipe and opening themselves up a bigger and bigger lead. Trax did come through to keep themselves within touching distance of that fight in particular, but I'm going to scare you guys because that is a 15,000 gold lead, if not 16. And Duck don't look to be even at the races this game. Carbon has just walked all over them from the beginning of the laning stage. Apart from that first blood, Duck has never been ahead in this game, and that is not the kind of thing that you want to see here, unfortunately. Scant, busy wandering around. That Solar Crest is going to do quite a bit of work. He's going to plant a fairly obvious ward. Legend forced to actually hide away from the position 5 on the side of Carbon. And it's not exactly what you want to see. He's already grabbed a Gem of True Sight. Rockley will drop the Lightning Bolt and just scout out that ward, which they knew was there. And that'll allow it to get picked up. Smacker getting ready. They don't have a gem as yet. Nova's running back just to try and complete what looks to be a... I think that should be... Okay, no, I was going to say, I think it might be the Vlads, but no, he's going to go for the Aghanim Scepter, so it's one way of preventing the Huskar from going completely YOLO, as Smacker at the moment has been pretty damn beastly. Heaven's Halberd up on him now. He's got himself an Armlet of Mord again, and I mean, it looks like only 1,300 HP, but when all of your damage is magical coming out of Duck, there's very, very little that you can actually do to contest. So Carbon will trade the tier 2. It looks like they might actually give up the tier 1 in mid, or do they? Nova is going to keep himself in. He's not going to get the last hit and deny there, so could go down here in the end. He's tracked up, and the ulti will come through from Chosen to keep his support alive. And in the meanwhile, Carbon has decided, well, we're going to take a tier 3. You want to fight in tier 1? Well, very well. We'll trade a building that you're not willing to give up this moment. And Duck is running for the hills. They don't have a single TP on them, and they might very well end up losing their ranged barracks. Smacky doing a boatload of work on that building right now. Lucker assisting. And do they even have the fight? Now, Scant does have the gem, so if Legend tries to start any of it, Oris is actually going to walk in here, but Legend is going to be the one caught out. He's going to go down before the rest of the fight even breaks in. Chosen comes in, and Oristus goes down. Ulti comes through from Zeus. That's going to keep Smacker at low HP for a little while, but he's just stacking that fire damage. Down goes the Zeus. Down goes the Omni Knight. And Duck are just being absolutely demolished. 4 heroes down once again. Carbon 28-6 at the 19-minute mark, and there is just no stopping them at the moment. Duck has no options. Chosen will feed his life away from 901 HP to the Rubik. Didn't even have a single kill streak on him. 25k net worth lead. Carbon, well, you know, they gave Duck a bit of a chance in game 1. Lost a number of fights. Duck in the region of perhaps mounting a victory there. Carbon, however, taking it through, but game 2, I mean, they haven't even given Duck the chance. They just basically decided, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pick your worst nightmare in the Huskar as a 5th pick, and then we're just gonna monster you. Now, Huskar is gonna jump onto Legend. He is lifted, so he might very well die here in the end. But look at this fight. He's gonna turn on that Armlet and Mortigan, and there's just nothing they can do. Just virtually useless against him. Sleep comes through onto Orestes as Smacker just wanders himself out of tier 4 range. Scant will turn off the Nightmare, and Orestes will burn alive. He'll get a kill with clever usage of the Purification. Gem goes onto the ground, and Abyss will get that, but hey, Smacker, he's still got dust on him. He's going to pick himself up another kill. Ultra kill on Smacker as he grabs himself the monster as well. 16, 3, and 9. Smacker is just uncontrollable. Orestes is going to come in. He does have that heal. He's going to do what he can. Does not have the Purification available, so Smacker picks up the Rampage and will die in the end to the creeps. He's going to drop the gem, but does it really matter at this stage, as Duck are not even in the slightest bit close to trying to win these games. If you take a look at the fight recap there, I think that was probably... what on earth? I think... okay, that was the last kill on the Huskar, but maybe it was only... I think the only assist went to Rising Devil, the only assist gold and experience there. That's why it looks a little bit less than it should, but... yeah, Carbon... I'm not even going to open the graphs. I think looking at the score and looking at the state of the game, I'm pretty certain you as the viewers will be able to deduce yourself what's coming next, because Carbon, they are just uncontrollable this game. Really showing, I mean, as I said, this is the team that many people were saying could very well be challenging for #1 in the country, if not already #1. And tonight they are certainly showing it in Game 2. Game 1, as I said, a lot closer, but Game 2, they've just slammed the door and bolted it. Nothing that Duck can even do to get back in this at the moment. Legend hunting, he's only got a Medallion of Courage. BKB now comes out for the... well, Marana goes down there. Nova here might be another trade. He does have the ulti available. He's going to turn things around with Lucker in assistance. Abyss might go down. The mechanism does come out, keeps him alive a little bit longer. Scant will get the ulti onto Orestes, though. He's going to go down, and that will be finished off by the Abaddon shield. They get a response kill onto the Bane. Nova is going to commit suicide as well and allow Lucker to get to safety. But I spy with my little eye a monster coming this way, and he's going to spot out Abyss. Actually, he's going to spot out Rock Lee. And Abyss, well, Rock Lee's his first target. I don't think he's making his way out. No, he's going down. He's now going to target Legend. Legend cannot attack. He's going to go down as well. Abyss realizes that he needs to get the hell out of dodge right now. So thank goodness he's got a track up on Smacker, because Smacker couldn't catch him there. Lucker assisting the godlike Huskar. Oh, Huskar gets the jump, but a quick movement by Rising Devil into the fog means that he can make his escape. Tier 3 goes down in mid lane as Lucker and Huskar start working on the ranged barracks. Smacker is going to probably provide an assist kill here onto Abyss. The heal comes through from Orestes, but not the fight that he wants to take here. Smacker not doing a whole lot of anything to Orestes at the moment. It looks like he's actually healing him. Abyss gets the kill onto Windranger. Well played there with the bounce, and Orestes, well, as soon as that ulti runs out of time, Smacker arrives in force, and there we go. Omni Knight goes down again. Smacker going to try and turn around here, gets quite a bit of damage done to Abyss this time. He's fighting up, he's taking all sorts of damage from like 4 or 5 sources, still surviving. He will go down in the end, as it's just, I think, a whole bunch of tower damage being finished off there, and had to turn off the Armlet. Legend's going to get caught out by the stun, and Omni Knight, sorry, Abaddon will get the kill there. Huskar buys back into the game, and Chosen might very well be dying. Gets healed up at the moment by Nova here, as Smacker jumps onto Rock Lee, who's forced to use the Yules on himself once again. He's not going to make it into the base. Goes down. Legend fighting from the base, not doing a whole lot of anything to Smacker. Smacker turns it on the stun, lands on Legend, and another kill for Smacker. 23 and 5 on this Huskar. There's just no stopping him tonight. Second lane of Rax goes down. Third lane probably not long for this world if Carbon wants to hold out for that long. But this has been a beatdown of note. 41-15 up against Duck here for Carbon. And it's not every day that you see this happen to a side like Duck. Net worth has sort of flattened out at about just less than 20k. XP is about 15k after those deaths, but it's still very, very far ahead. Abaddon will get hunted here by the bounty hunter as Carbon looks to end this very, very soon. Oris is going to get caught out, not going to survive much longer after that. Omni Knight gets finished by Rising Devil as that shackle sets up 2 kills, and Lucker, well, the luck certainly is with him tonight. Chosen, does he get caught out? He does. Abyss playing a cheeky game here. He's going to get caught out by the Scant ulti. Bane gets the assist on that kill, going to Lucker and his Wind Ranger. Smacker, he's going to start tanking the base. Might very well end up dying here. Oh, well-timed usage of the armlet keeps him alive. But damage being done. Scant might be the trade here. He doesn't get the brain sap off in time. Smacker, does he have anybody to catch out? No, he doesn't. He's just wandering around. He's actually going to jump, but he will die in the end. Rising Devil survives this time. But Lucker is playing objective Dota on very, very low HP, might very well end up dying. Zeus does have the ulti available, and well, not the ulti, sorry, the chain lightning, arc lightning available, and that'll kill off Lucker. So DUC doing what they can to defend, but it is a long and very, very unlikely road that they have to travel if they have any hope of winning this game. It's unlikely that Carbon will allow them to hang around much longer. We'll probably just be waiting for Huskar to respawn as well as Wind Ranger, and then Carbon will be making their journey down the yellow brick road that is the mid lane, and we'll be starting to work on the Dire Ancient. Legend will be spotted here by Nova. He's going to try and fight this Abaddon. Abaddon, yeah, not really all that farmed, are you, my friend? I'd love to see this hero get a lot more farm, but it's just not his day. Chosen comes in with a good stun to Abyss. The heal comes through. He's going to keep Abyss alive a little bit longer. Scant not able to get any more damage, but Nova does just enough to finish him off. Nova, very, very low HP, will die in the end, as that will go the way of the Zeus. Scant will get finished off. Zeus picks himself up the double and has himself that blink dagger. Damage in the mid lane, however, is being done by the creeps. Legend will TP in there to do what he can, so I slow things down. We have Lucker on the hunt, not really going to spot anything, and Smack is going to start pushing out the top lane. So Carbon just, I think, probably weary of the fact that they're starting to give up a few too many kills here. I mean, their R2 Rax is up with a lineup that is, I think, well, I wouldn't say falling off. The Huskar will start falling off, but they've done more than enough, I think, to put themselves in a very, very difficult position to lose. So it's really just about how long it's going to take. Smacker's damage and, you know, Smacker's damage and power will start falling off from probably about the 30-minute mark, is when will start becoming less and less of a, you know, a godlike threat. But Duck, well, I mean, even if Smack is not a threat, they don't actually have any way of dealing with him. So Legend is on the hunt. Does he start things off? He's going to start it off onto Huskar. Huskar's just going to turn around and beat some sense into Legend here. Legend is going to get, oh, what on earth happened there? Actually, Huskar gets slept up. Rubik doing as much as he can to keep them alive. Nova here, keeping his teammates alive. Chosen's taking quite a bit of damage here from Legend, though, and will be caught up. Chosen, does he get off the stun? He does get off the stun, but dies right before. Lucker's going to start working onto Abyss here, as both the Marana and the Abaddon have gone down. Zeus dies in backplay. Abyss goes down as well, as Smacker is chasing his opponents right into their base. Got the ulti onto Oristus, and might very well end up dying here if he plays this too dangerously. He's going to actually just start going onto Oristus. Oristus has 7 stacks of fire on him and should survive for now. Scant cancels the ulti, but the Ancient will go down. So Carbon takes a clean 2-0 victory over Duck and gets themselves a spot in the upper bracket. Well, the next round of the upper bracket, round 3, guys. Unfortunately, Duck takes a loss and they will get knocked down into the losers bracket. Best of 3s all the way out. And yeah, so Carbon doing a significant amount of work in the early stages of game 2 and winning, to say convincingly, is really doing a grave misjustice to what Carbon did, because they just walked all over Duck like they weren't even there and taking a great victory. Rubik somehow goes 2-2-9 in a game where his team fed more than 40 kills in 28 minutes. So well played to him, but unfortunately not really the type of game where Ruby could do anything. And Carbon's lineup, DUC's draft as well really didn't help them in the early stages. Yeah, so Carbon takes a 2-0 victory, guys, in the Dota 2 Gigabyte Challenge. My name is Prophecy. If you'd like to follow me, you can follow me at Prophecy Gaming on Twitter as well as Facebook. My name is spelled Profeci. Not quite the usual way, but anyway. If you'd like to follow Nav TV, one of the sponsors of the tournament, Nav TV can be followed at navtv.co.za. Sorry, at Nav TV on Facebook as well. Guys, otherwise, thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your night. Bye bye.
this.